All right, guys, if you're a real estate investor, especially wholesaler, someone that's not working low equity deals or working with a real estate agent, this podcast is for you. We have Bob Vieira from Universal Short Sales on the call today. He's going to talk about how you can capitalize and make money on leads that you normally would throw in the trash. We're going to be talking about the market compressing and turning over, why short sales are going to be picking up. So let me introduce you to my guest and partner, Bob Vieira. We're going to be talking about a lot of different really interesting topics with the short sale process. And this is for all of you across all 50 states in North America. So let's dig in, Bob. Welcome, call.
Hey, Connor, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So we recently partnered here with eXp Realty. And one of the cool things is you're working with real estate investors, specifically wholesalers that need an exit strategy for those low equity deals or those leads that come in that want $500,000 for the $500,000 house, or the ones that are potential short sale. So let's talk about universal short sales. Y'all are growing exponentially very, very quickly across the country right now. And let's kind of break down what a short sale is and then how this can help investors all across North America align with you and kind of increase their income.
Absolutely. So Universal Short Sales, it's a brand new company I started at the beginning of this year. I started off as a listing agent, listing properties in the Philadelphia, PA market. And just like any new agent, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to literally track down any type of listing I can get my hands on. Just so happens a bunch of those ended up being short sales. So I literally learned the business from being an agent, having no clue what I was doing. It eventually evolved after 2 to 3 years of listing them. And like I said, at the beginning of this year, 2019, I realized that instead of being an agent, I could add way more value to the market by just creating an actual short sale processing company and just filling that void that the market needs. And that's how it was born.
Yeah, so a lot of times when you become an expert on a certain strategy, extra businesses pop up. But what's cool is that you can do this all across the country, and you're going already into a lot of different states with agents working with you on the ground, but you're looking to get into more states. So you're looking for agents right now that can partner with you in these areas where you can refer them leads after leads. And that's what we'll talk about here in a little bit. But let's kind of break down what a short sale is for someone who's just now watching this that doesn't understand what a short sale is, or even a refresher for those that do.
Sure. The easiest way to put it is a short sale is when the mortgage balance on a homeowner's house exceeds the as-is value of the home. And then what the lender does is they allow you to sell for whatever the as-is value is, and the rest of the debt, any debt that's associated with the home, and then that balance, the deficiency balance, is just wiped away clean, and the lender is agreeing to settle on that debt. So then essentially, if you're the homeowner, you don't owe them anything. You're able to walk from the property, and it does not get recorded as a foreclosure. Let me just give an example just to kind of simplify it a little. Let's say you owed $100,000 on your mortgage for the sake of the example, and the as-is value of your house is, let's say, 70 grand. In a short sale situation, the bank is going to let you sell for that $70,000 that it's worth. And that $30,000 difference, that's called the deficiency, that gets wiped away clean. You're able to walk from the property and you don't owe the bank anything, and it doesn't get recorded as a foreclosure.
Right, and that's powerful because it's not in Texas, but there's some states where they call it like a deficiency judgment, where like
deficiency, yeah,
can actually stick with them and they owe it even if they can't sell their house for that amount.
Yes.
That's something you don't want lingering around. So
yes.
So kind of break into a higher level view of why the bank would do this in the first place. Is it because it's more expensive to go the other way, or kind of give the reason why they would just kind of let you out of it?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's tons of reasons, but a couple of the really important reasons are kind of like you just said, Connor, it's super expensive for a bank, especially if it's a state where they have to take it through the actual court systems, which is called a judicial state. In those states, it's super expensive for the lender. I mean, it's a court process. They have to hire attorneys, wait out the court periods, holding periods, so on and so forth. So for them to just get rid of that bad debt, it's just a smarter business move for them. And then, the second reason to keep in mind, a bank's a business. Like a lot of people forget that a bank is a business. So just like any business, you don't want bad debt on your books. And that's what a short sale is. It's a defaulting loan, and it's just bad debt, just like any other business.
I mean, banks are not in the real estate business; they're in the financing business, and
Right.
A lot of people don't focus enough on how fast you can cycle money, or the value of time either. So, like I gave a speech this morning, and I had talked about this. Like two house flippers flip a house, or you flip two houses yourself, you make 40 grand a piece. Which one did you make more money on? I'm trying to urge people that follow me more to think about time and emotion when they're doing these deals. Because let's say one took 6 months and took a lot more time working with contractors. It was not in close proximity to you. You're driving out to the property over and over. That's taking a lot more time. So banks are thinking about time as well in this situation, because if they can just, it's avoiding their time, avoiding the overhead. And it's just a lot better way for them to do it, which is why they do it. Okay. Yep. Now, how do you help investors, specifically wholesalers, because they're the ones looking for discounted equity deals, but most of the leads that they get from their marketing, as you guys know, what do they want? They want like $150 billion for the 100K house. Yeah. But in reality, they want like 100 grand for the 100 grand house, or 500 grand for the 500 grand house. And what is a wholesaler going to do in that situation? How can you help them?
Yeah. So especially wholesalers who have tons and tons of marketing, and as they ramp things up and talk to more and more distressed sellers, like you said, most of those sellers, you're not going to be able as a wholesaler to strike a deal with them, whether there's not enough equity, or, maybe they're not motivated, and maybe they want to sell, but they're not motivated enough. A lot of the deals, yourself, they just don't come to fruition. It's a numbers game in the wholesale business. So if you're a wholesaler and you come across a deal that you can't make work for whatever the reason is, typically there's not enough equity, they're underwater, whatever it is, instead of throwing that lead out or putting it in a dead lead folder and not capitalizing on it and losing money, you could refer that deal to us at Universal Short Sales, and we'll pay you a referral fee after we process the short sale. If it's a short sale situation, we could process the short sale for the seller and literally cut you a check right at closing, and that's for every deal you send us.
It's free money in the way you would think about it, because it's thrown away. Because all the time I have wholesalers and individuals in my marketplace, because I put a lot of effort to get found on the internet. So they call me and they say, hey, can I put you on my buyers list? And I said, sure, but are you looking for low equity deals? What are you doing with your properties that they want retail? Do you have an agent that you work with? And a lot of times I can hear them crumpling the paper out of the trash can, and they're pulling it. Actually, they're just throwing these leads away, like legitimately. Yeah. Just trashing them. So last time we were really tracking this, we were about 1 out of 15 inbound leads that came into our office that we could monetize and acquire and close on the property. That's like 14 out of 15 people calling us that we can't do anything with. And right now, if you guys are marketing heavily or you're on the internet doing SEO, you're probably feeling what I'm feeling and seeing what I'm seeing, which is a lot of people with listed properties submitting to get offers from your investment company. We're seeing this more and more over the past 6 months as the market tightens. A lot of these people are going to end up in a situation as the market turns. So we're headed towards top of the market in most parts of the country. Not to scare you guys, it's a huge opportunity in my opinion. But think about this. Let's say that the market corrects itself a little bit in some areas, and these people just bought a house. They can't sell the property. There's not enough equity in it. There's no way they can get sold. So Bob and his team are going to have a huge opportunity to help you. And you can do this all across the country in 50 states, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what would it look like? Let's say, because you're looking for people on the ground in some of these markets to give referrals to as you scale this, right? You're looking for strategic
partners. Agents, yes. Real estate agents specifically.
So let's say someone's in Ohio and they podcast and they're an agent. How would that work? They could reach out to you and you would say, okay, here's the situation. We're expanding into multiple markets. I need someone to give you, kind of break down what they could kind of see from their side.
Yeah. So let me back up just so people understand. Every short sale, at least 90 to 95% of short sales, lenders require them to be listed with an agent, because think about it from their perspective. They're going to sell short. Okay. They're agreeing to take a loss on the property. The less money lost for them, the better. So the way they're looking at it is like, look, we're going to take a loss on this thing, but we want to make sure that it's listed on the MLS and we're getting as much money as possible to recoup as much of our investment as we can. So it has to be listed with an agent. So every deal that we process, market to market, we're always looking for a real estate agent. It has to be listed. Even if, there's a buyer lined up for it, it still has to be listed in the MLS.
Okay. Now let's look at time in a couple different areas. The time to do these transactions, because it's not a quick process. Is it 1 month, 5 months, 6 months, a year? And then look at the time involved for the agents that you're partnering with. How much time out of their pocket do you think? Is it just like working normal listings when it gets to that point, or kind of give it from those two perspectives, the time frame of how the whole process works, and then how they say, and then what? And then we'll look at what we do to reach out to you and how they submit it to you in the step by step.
Yeah. So look, I hear people all the time say, we could do short sales in X amount and they guarantee timelines. I really hate doing that. And I get that question all the time, especially from potential customers. How quick could you guys get this done? The time frame I'll give you is, on average, you're looking at 3 to 5 months, and that's to process the short sale and to get it sold. But you have to remember, it really, really depends on the file, because there's some files that are way more complex than other files. There's some with multiple loans against them and IRS liens and just craziness, HUD liens. Transactions like that, they can't be facilitated quickly. It's going to add to the time. Now, you have some that we've done in 2 months flat. And yeah, that's an testament to our follow-up systems and we know what we're doing. But at the same time, they were just cleaner deals. Property sold quickly. It didn't sit on the market. There was one lien. It was just a cleaner transaction. So really, it depends is what I'm trying to say from a timeline perspective. It really does.
Okay, so let's say there's a wholesaler in Arizona. You're out of Florida. And then you have an agent that partners with you, and they're in Arizona. Kind of give the process. The wholesaler comes across the property. And then what? And it's in a financial situation where it's a short sale opportunity.
So the wholesaler realizes that they can't help the seller, but it could be a potential short sale. So they send the deal over to us. Right now, we're working on a system where all the wholesaler is going to have to do is fill out a form, and it's going to go right to our website. That's about 6 to 8 months away. We're currently working on that. So right now, it's either a text message or literally an email saying, "Hey, Bob, I have a lead. Take a look at it." And then, Connor, before we reach out to any lead, this is really important. What we do is we have a contract template. It's a referral agreement, literally a page long, super simple. And that's signed by me. And I send it to the wholesaler before we reach out to the lead via DocuSign. So before we reach out, you have guaranteed that you're going to get paid. Right after that's signed, we're going to reach out to the lead and we have a qualification process. If that lead is A, qualified, and B, they want to do the short sale, then we execute the processing agreement, execute the third-party authorization, and then we begin the process. Once we're into the process and we have most of the facilitation done, then the agent gets involved. That's where the real estate agent comes in, and that's where we reach out to them. Hopefully we have a relationship. As I was just telling you before the podcast, we're expanding so rapidly that we get into a lot of cities and I don't know any agents in those cities. So we really need good agents that are going to take these leads on and partner with us. So let's say we're in a city where we don't have an agent. I'll literally, it's not very sophisticated. I'll literally go on Zillow, like if I don't have any referrals, and I'll look at the agents who are experienced in REOs and short sales, and I'll just reach out to them.
Well, what's cool is, excuse me, what's cool is that you're not just giving a lead, you're giving them essentially a listing, right? You're giving them an actual thing. So guys, if you're all around the country, reach out to Bob and be like, "Hey, look, I want to be your guy on the ground here, gal on the ground here," because he's really going to be sending you pretty much checks if you want to look at it. Not obviously they're going to have to put time into it, but what is it? So now, compensation wise, let's look at how that works for the wholesaler as well as for the agent. Are you doing reduced listings with the agent? Like, how does this work? Kind of break it down. Let's say like on a easy math, 100 house.
Yeah. So for every deal that the wholesaler sends us, right after we complete it, typically for like a processing fee, we'll get a flat fee of around $3,900, which is actually raising the price, or maybe we'll get a percentage of the purchase price. We're going to cut the wholesaler a check for $500 immediately after the settlement. Now, the referral contract, it says within 5 days, but literally it's right after. And that's for every deal you send us. So think of it from a wholesaler's perspective. You could take a lead that is literally garbage. You're throwing it in the trash, as you said before. You could hear them crinkle it up. And literally, instead of losing money, you're going to profit from every one of those deals. If you have 10, 20, 30 of those a year, think of how much extra money that is.
I know, that's a lot. Also, guys, if you're wholesalers, a lot of you coming across this, I run a multi-state real estate team. Send me your leads that are potential listings that say they want $300,000 for $300,000 house, and they're not just a short sale lead, but just a traditional listing. I have agents on the ground in 25 states. So think about that as well. That's another option. So what about for the agent on the back end? So you refer that, so the partners will be contacting you that you're looking for right now. how does that work from you to them?
So keep this in mind too. When I say listing referral, this isn't a referral that you're paying Zillow for and like a hot lead that you have to give a sales pitch. Look, from an agent's perspective, there's no sales pitch, there's no listing presentation. All the sales is done. We explain to the customer in the very, very beginning, hey, look, if you want to do a short sale, the bank is going to want to see this thing listed. So they're already expecting an agent to reach out to them. So there's no sales, there's no listing presentation. It's literally a free listing, not even a listing lead. And all we ask for is we get 1% of the total purchase price. So really it's 2.5% commission. You owe us nothing up front, and it's a free listing.
Guys, and I already know people he's doing this with right now, and it's been working well. So maybe there's things I don't know to ask you about the process. Anything you want to, what about just regular investors? Is there a way for a regular investor to work with you that's not an agent to buy the property on the short sale? Because a lot of investors are trying to buy short sales because this is going to be becoming a more and more common situation that you guys run into out there as the market turns and as we start to recede, if we do. And a lot of people have different opinions on this, but if we have a 20% correction, this is going to happen quite often.
I agree. Yeah. So as far as if you're like an actual investor, we have a special program that we launched for that because so many people reached out to me wanting to do that. So how that works is, let's say you bring me a property at 123 Main Street that you want to be the end buyer of, and it's a short sale. We get compensated from the end buyer on the HUD as a part of the closing cost. So what we'll do is, let's say Connor brings me a property. I'll say, okay, when the facilitation is done, we're going to credit you that $500. Even though you're the end buyer, we're going to honor that. So we're going to credit you $500. Let's just use an even number. Let's say it's a $3,000 facilitation fee. You're only going to pay us $2,500. So we're going to credit you $500 towards your buyer's closing costs just for giving us the business. Now, let's say, Connor, the bank does their appraisal, the BPO, and let's say it comes back at a crazy high price and you decide to back out of the deal as the buyer. You could back out of the deal and we're still going to process it for the seller. We're not going to leave them hanging. Once we're done processing the short sale, we're going to honor your referral fee again. So you could literally, it's a win-win. It's a no-brainer for the investor. You could stay in the deal and get the $500 referral as a credit, or you could back out of the deal and we're still going to pay you the $500 referral fee.
Pretty good stuff. What about like the liens and all this? Like, how does that happen? Like, let's say they come across, so this can happen if they have all sorts of judgments attached to it. Like, because I know that's what's going to scare a lot of people. That's still able to be done.
Yeah. So, I mean, really what that depends on is the type of loan that's defaulting. I'll give you an example. FHA loan. Let's say it's an FHA loan that is the defaulting mortgage, which is very common. Don't get me started on that. That's a whole different subject. But a lot of first-time homebuyer loans are going into default. FHA has very stringent guidelines with their short sales. So there's certain seller side costs that the lender is going to approve, and there's certain costs that they're not going to approve. I'll actually paint a picture for you that literally just happened to me on a Philadelphia one. So we had an inheritance tax issue. It was an FHA-backed loan. The offer was approved. Everything was good to go. The lender was covering back taxes, everything involved, except they would not let the seller escrow the inheritance tax. It was a huge issue. Long story short, we got it solved, but that's a perfect example because if that was a conventional loan or maybe a private investor holding that note, we probably would have been able to got the deal done.
What about, do you have like a Facebook group that you've created where you kind of go over and let them come in there, ask you questions, or we go into detail? Or if you're not, you should think about it.
That's a great idea. Yeah, that's an idea. I mean, I'll do Facebook Live interviews and I'll talk in other people's, but I should create my own. You're right.
I mean, I think it'd be a good idea because, it's not much effort from them. I mean, you're handling all the paperwork, but still, like, it just, I think you grow quickly once people realize what you're doing. What about a website where they can go? Where do they, right now, you just want them submitting it, just contact you directly or finding you on Facebook?
Yeah, so if you're a wholesaler, like I said, give us like six to 8 months roughly. We're going to have a really simple form where you go to our website, fill in the information, and boom, we get the lead, the contract, it's done. Right now, you're just going to email me or literally shoot me a text. Hey, Bob, I think I have something that may be a potential short sale lead. Can't do anything with it. Regarding, what was your other question regarding the Facebook group?
Well, I mean, I think it would be a good idea. So, like, anytime I've other have partners or other people in the business doing things to you, they create a little Facebook group where people could come in and ask questions and kind of give an idea or suggestions of agents they know in certain markets. Because it's like first come, first serve. You're seeing this right now. Get on the phone, blow them up real quick because he has a referral partner in your market. You know, he's going to be working with that agent. So, like, this is essentially. I mean, I can literally imagine people right now like pulling their old leads as wholesalers out of the trash can, and like calling you.
That happens all the time. I get wholesalers. Like if I'll talk to the wholesaler for the first time, they'll just think of it. Oh, you know what? You know, as a matter of fact, let me call you back, and they'll just go back in their Podio or database or whatever, and they'll just start blasting me like 15 leads. You know, it's funny.
Well, they need to qualify a little bit. Like they have to. It's just not sending you every lead. Like you're not. It's or how to. From your side, they got to protect your time a little bit.
Yeah, they do. I mean, but I don't want them because people aren't short sale experts. Short sale, I realize that short sale is such a niche part of the industry that I don't want the wholesaler to go on the phone and, you know, run them down a list and ponder whether or not it's going to qualify for a short. So, I mean, really let us do that legwork for you. You know, I don't want the wholesaler to have to do that legwork. So I have like 2 or 3 questions I'll qualify them with, and I could tell within, you know, probably 30 seconds on the phone call whether or not it's going to be a qualified short sale. So really don't even worry about that. You know, it's not a lot of my time.
You should, but that's what like Facebook group, you could create a little questionnaire form, things like that to give them so they can pre-qualify.
Yeah. And then they could just send it to the lead. You're right.
Cool, man. I mean, I think this is going to be I already know what you're doing. It's expanding quickly. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity for agents and wholesalers and other investors to work with you. How do they reach you?
You can reach me by email. Are you going to put this at the bottom? The email? The spelling's a little tricky.
Throw your number out, and we'll put your contact information in there as well. But make sure to send it to me. Sometimes we knock these podcasts out.
Yeah, I'll text it to you.
Put it back down there later. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the best way, obviously, guys, is just to contact him on Facebook, or he's going to give his number right now.
Yeah, 570 is my cell phone. 570-614-3232. Again, that's 570-614-3232. And let me give my email too. I might as well. It's my last name, companies plural @gmail.com. So that's Vieira. V is in Victor, I-E-I-R-A. The word companies plural, COMPANIES @gmail.com.
Awesome, man. Let's do one more time, just quick so they understand this. Wholesaler finds a deal, short sale possibility. They're already paying for that lead. Send it to you. You're going to do all the paperwork, handle everything. They're going to be protected. They don't have to worry about you circumventing, because that's one of the big fears. A lot of these new investors think, like, how am I going to get screwed over and how are they going to cut me out? So you're going to sign to protect them. Then you're going to reach out to an agent that reaches out to you from this podcast so you can find boots on the ground, and you're just going to give them a listing.
That's it. You just literally summed it up for me. If you're a wholesaler talking to someone and you're not sure, you know, you definitely can't do anything with it, and you say, you know what, this might be a short sale, it might not be, you know, they're underwater, they have delinquency, you know, they're behind on their mortgage, send it over to me and I'll take a look. You know, it can't hurt. By the way, my website, I think you mentioned before, was www.universalshortsales.com is my website. It's got my contact information. It's got info about our process, the company, everything you need, testimonials.
Right. And if you're in just a landlord investor or a house flipper, you come across the same leads, still shoot them on over to them. Same type of process in a little bit different way, but they're going to work with you as well.
Absolutely. And just a side note too, because we talked a little bit about agents. Yep. If you're a real estate agent out there, absolutely, just like Connor said, I mean, it's a no-brainer opportunity, especially if you're experienced in like REO, short sales. I mean, you know, we're always looking for good, reliable agents across the country, especially if your market has tons of short sales in it, then you'll have a field day.
I mean, so you'd also be working with me. So we're partners here at what we do. Yep. So the other thing is, like, if you're a top producing agent in your marketplace, reach out to Bob quickly, become his referral partner, and then start reaching out to all the wholesalers in your area and start saying, hey, and other investors in your network, contact every investor you know and say, hey, if you come across a scenario, shoot them over to Bob and Bob's company. And then, because you're just helping, it's just a lead generation strategy for you. So it's all cyclically connected. Yeah. I think it's really cool what you're doing. I think you're going to help a lot of people. You're going to have a lot of success doing it as the market turns.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on here. Anything else that I didn't think of to ask you, or I think we covered a good breakdown.
I think we covered everything, to be honest. It's really straightforward. It's really straightforward. I look forward to working with everyone. I hope this, I hope this rings a bell with a lot of wholesalers so they could, take those dead leads and send them over.
Yeah, man, it's going to help a lot of people. Grateful to be partners with you guys, and appreciate you hopping on here, Bob. Let's pump this thing out there and get it out to some people and see what happens, and I'll see you when I see you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.